All right, let's get started with today's lesson. So, our primary focus today is that we are able to identify the problem and solution in a text. Before we get to that, though, let's take a look at some math vocabulary. These two words are really important when you're especially working on word problems. Those words are fewer and more. Okay, fewer means less amount of items. Okay, and more means a greater amount of items. So you can see here, this one asks which side has fewer stars. So the word fewer means less. So if I looked here, I've got 6 stars here and 4 stars here. If I'm looking for the fewer amount of stars, that would be over here because fewer means less, right? There's less stars here than there are here. On this side, it says which side has more triangles. I know it should be triangles. These aren't hearts. Which side has more triangles? So if I look, there's 2 triangles here. There's 6 triangles here. More means a greater amount. So I'm looking for the greater amount here. Obviously, 6 is the greater amount. Okay. So those are the words fewer and more, and those are really important to know in English. We're going to talk about problem and solution next. We're going to get to that. And so just remember, we've talked about this before, that problem and solution is when there's a problem in the story that the characters are facing. And the solution is how that problem gets solved. So we have the words consequently, therefore, as a result, thereby, leads to, and because of. Those are all signal words. Those are telling you that there's a problem and a solution happening in the story. Think back to A Bad Case of Stripes, right? As an example to help explain this. The problem in that story was that Camilla woke up with lots of stripes on her body. And the way that that problem was solved was she ate lima beans and those stripes went away. So that would be the solution. The problem is kind of what goes wrong in the story, and the solution is how that gets solved. We're going to read this story, and I'm going to stop, and I'm going to ask you a couple of questions to think about as we read. I don't get it. Oliver felt as if his eyes were crossing as he looked at the sea of numbers on his paper. I just don't get it, he huffed. There's that word huffed. I can just imagine him being upset. He erased his work on the math problem for what felt like the 50th time. This is impossible, Oliver burst out loudly enough for his dad to hear. Do you even use division as an adult? Yep, Dad replied, when I need to make something sure that everyone gets the same amount of something. He swung a package of gummy bears back and forth. I guess, Oliver said, eyeing the candy. What's the problem in this story so far? Take a moment and think about that. What is the problem in this story so far? You're right. The problem is that Oliver is struggling to do his division homework. Okay? He's having a hard time doing division. Let's really focus on how that problem gets solved now. I want you to pay attention to that. Dad emptied the bag in front of Oliver. Forget about numbers for a minute, he said. Let's say I want to give you and your brothers equal amounts of these. How would I go about doing that? Oliver spread the bears out on the counter. You'd figure out how many were there, then split them evenly, he answered. Exactly, Dad said. Think of your division problems as splitting gummy bears. Oliver looked at the problem again. He counted out the total number of gummy bears he needed. He concentrated hard, looking from the problem to the bears and back. He then started to arrange them into groups. There's that vocabulary word arrange. He's putting them in a particular order. The numbers made more sense when they were something he could eat. I think I get it, Oliver said. Dad looked over Oliver's work and gave him a nod. And would you look at that, Dad said, pointing to the 4 extra gummy bears. We each get 2, Oliver exclaimed. So we can tell that he's saying that with lots of excitement, right? So now I want you to think, how did that problem of Oliver not being able to do division get solved? Awesome, you're totally right. Dad helped Oliver to use gummy bears to be able to count out the problem to be able to do division. So the way that that was solved is that Dad helped Oliver by using gummy bears to figure out division. So this week, you are going to be doing the same thing in Seesaw. You're going to be given a story, and you need to figure out what is the problem and the solution of the story. Have a great rest of the day.